Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Signs and Wonders. Thank you so much for joining me this fine evening. I hope you all are loving the live shows as much as I am. If you haven't already subscribed, make sure you do and turn your notifications on. That way you can set reminders and stuff and you'll never miss a live event. In the next couple days, we have an exciting King James only debate set. We have Pastor James Snap Jr. coming back to talk about Mark 16 and all the misinformation out there about the manuscript evidence. Very important subject, you guys, so you don't want to miss that. Also, I'm always looking for guests to come on the show, so if you've ever had like a near-death experience or demonic attack or anything you want to come tell your story about, send me an email. And I'm also looking for someone who believes in evolution to debate a creationist. So if that's you, email me here. my_transformation@hotmail.com. Okay guys, all that being said, today is September 10th, 2020, and this is your End Times News Report. Oh, I almost forgot. Thank you so much to all my Patreons and any of you who've helped this channel in any way. I will be updating the Patreon perks soon, now that I'm doing more live shows, so keep an eye out for that. Widespread floods affect 2.5 million people, over 1 million acres of crops in Sindh, Pakistan. Record rainfall and resulting floods in Pakistan's Sindh province have affected nearly 2.5 million people and over 405,000 hectares or 1 million acres of crops since the start of the rainy season. In total, 15,000 villages were inundated, more than 77,000 homes destroyed, and over 137,000 damaged. The most affected district in the province is Mirpurkhas, with 932,000 people affected, followed by Amarkot, which has 700,000 people. Mirpurkhas is dependent on agriculture and livestock, with most of the population living in extreme poverty. Heavy rains caused the Chenab and Indus rivers to burst their banks, forcing residents in districts such as Kapir and Damashoro and near the Gudu Barge to evacuate. Totally slaughtering those pronunciations, but it's Pakistan. I mean, you try pronouncing anything in Pakistan. In Rahim Yar Khan, more than a dozen villages were submerged after the Indus River became swollen. In Kahapur, more than 1,000 people were trapped and forced to help themselves as government aid reportedly did not reach their area on time. That's terrible. And just to let you guys know, I don't mean any offense to anyone if I mispronounce these names, of course. I don't mean that at all. It's just very hard to pronounce places in Pakistan if you're not actually from the area. People in Jamshoro also suffered the same situation. Provincial management officials warned that floods in Gudabarj were expected to increase on September 10th. A high alert has been issued, camps have been formed, and patrolling in these areas has been increased. Unprecedented wildfires force evacuations and emergency responses throughout Oregon. Oregon Governor Kate Brown declared a wildfire emergency on Tuesday, September 8th, 2020, after raging wildfires forced evacuations and burned through at least 2 towns. State officials said they've never seen conditions so conducive to destructive fires. This is proving to be an unprecedented and significant fire event for our state, Brown said in a news conference on Tuesday afternoon. We do not have context for this amount of fire on the landscape, said Doug Graffey, Chief of Fire Protection at the Oregon Department of Forestry. Strong wind gusts on Monday afternoon, September 7th, gave new life to wildfires in central and eastern Marion County for weeks, creating what officials are now calling the Santiam Fire, OPB reports. Santiam? The fire quickly swept through the canyons west of the Cascades, forcing evacuations in a number of communities east of Salem. Elsewhere across the state, intensifying wildfires near Eugene and Ashland and along the coast prompted evacuation orders in towns and state prisons. Los Angeles bans Halloween, trick-or-treating outlawed. Los Angeles has banned trick-or-treating for all children, and health officials told parents they can't go trunk-or-treating either. I don't know what that is. Door-to-door trick-or-treating is not allowed because it can be very difficult to maintain proper social distancing on porches and at front doors, especially in neighborhoods that are popular with trick-or-treaters, the Los Angeles County Department of Public Health said in its recently released guidelines. Trunk-or-treating events, where children go from car to car instead of door to door to receive treats, are also not allowed. Gatherings or parties with non-household members are not permitted even if they are conducted outdoors, the guidelines said. Carnivals, festivals, live entertainment, and haunted house attractions are not allowed. The guidelines do not say what the penalty will be for those who violate the guidelines. Vatican coup? George Soros funds Jesuit NGOs with $1.7 million. 3 Jesuit charities close to Pope Francis have received more than $1.7 million in recent years from George Soros's Open Society foundations. In total, George Soros' donations to Jesuit foundations totaled $1,002,577 over the past 4 years. The funding is particularly controversial due to Open Society's aggressive support of abortion, gay marriage, drug liberalization, and Islamization of the West. Over the past 4 years, the Soros Foundation has donated nearly $12 million to the International Planned Parenthood Federation, or the IPPF, and its U.S. political arm, the Planned Parenthood Action Fund. In 2016, it became known that the Soros Foundation gave $1.5 million to quash the scandal over the Planned Parenthood harvesting of organs and tissues from aborted babies. And in 2017, the Irish government ordered Amnesty International to return more than $160,000 donated by Open Society to legalize abortion in their country. Forbes estimates George Soros' fortune at $8.3 billion. The Open Society's foundation's budget for 2020 is $1.2 billion. Now, Catholic News Agency has asked the Jesuit foundations about their ties to Soros and his pro-abortion program, but has yet so far received no response. Satellite images suggest North Korea preparing ballistic missile test. New commercial satellite imagery of North Korea's Sinpo shipyard, first revealed by the Center for Strategic and International Studies, or the CSIS, shows the rogue nation could be preparing to test fire a Pukguksong-3 submarine-launched ballistic missile (SLBM) from a submersible test stand barge. Activity is also noted around the statistic test stand on the south side of the Sinpo South Shipyard, where vehicles or equipment appear to be positioned around the rail-mounted service stand and test stand strongarm, which is used to raise a launch tube or missile into the vertical position for testing. The U.S. think tank said satellite images are suggestive, but not conclusive, of preparations for an upcoming test of an SLBM. North Korea did successfully conduct an underwater launch of its Pukguksong-3 on October 2, 2019, as part of a defensive maneuver to combat external threats. CSIS noted an October surprise, one where North Korea could launch a ballistic missile ahead of the U.S. presidential elections. Such a test would highlight the lack of progress between the Trump administration and North Korea in the denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula. News of this activity has undoubtedly put Southeast Asian leaders and Washington on alert for a possible October surprise. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe and turn your notifications on so you don't miss any of the upcoming live shows. And again, if you'd like to be a guest on the show, shoot me an email sometime. God bless you and all of your family members, guys. You guys have a good night, and we'll see you in the next one.